All right, so this is the lesson for January 7th, 2021. Okay, and we are looking at the vocabulary for essential. Okay, how many of you guys have heard of the word essential before? Never heard the word before? No? Okay. All right, so essential, I'm going to give you a sentence. So a pencil and your computer are essential for being able to do the work that you need to do in class. Okay, important, right? Something that's important, or hold on just a minute before you write that. Something that is necessary. Okay, so I want you to put something that is necessary right here. Okay, so then what is an essential quality for a good friend to have? To you guys, what's an essential quality that a good friend would have? Okay, they're nice, they're kindness. So you're going to write an essential quality for a good friend to have is niceness, kindness, trustworthy. They don't tell you lies, things like that. Okay. All right. Then you guys good there? Okay. The next word is demand. Okay. So, if somebody is demanding, what does that mean to you guys? Telling you something you don't want to do, or okay, telling you what to do. So like if you're playing basketball and your coach demands that you play good defense, right? That's like they're almost forcing it. They're requiring it, right? Okay. Let's do this. Let's put the response up there. Okay, so to demand is a need or a requirement. Okay? A need or a requirement. All right, now what's one way schools can meet the demand for more technology? To meet the demand for more technology, schools can, what do you guys think? Give you laptops. That's what our school district does, is they give all secondary students a laptop. Okay, we're all one-to-one with laptops or tablets. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at this. So yesterday we can remember we read about the guy who, actually neither of you, so those of you who are at home, my two students in class, neither of them did yesterday's either. But yesterday we talked about there was a man who he required three things. Okay, he required three things, or he asked for three things. Let's go back to it. Whoops. Okay, so he asked for us to bring more awareness of the problem of water. This is on page 105. He also asked for mandatory water restrictions. Okay, and then the third thing he asked for was to better manage the state's groundwater supply. Okay, which comes from the mountains. Okay, today we're going to learn about another scientist or author, his opinion, and this is on page, what is it, guys? 106, okay? So it says, what's the best way to control how much water we use? Author Robert Glennon proposes that people who use more water should pay more. Use more, pay more. We Americans are lucky. When we wake up in the morning and turn on the faucet, we have access to a limitless amount of water for less than we pay for cell phone service. This has allowed most of us to think of water as we this has allowed most of us to think of water as we think about air, as infinite and inexhaustible. What does he mean by that? As far as like he has allowed us to think of water as we think about air, infinite and inexhaustible. What do you think he means by that? Right. We can just use it over and over and over and over. We'll never run out, right? Is that true? Okay. In a way, so the earth has a fixed amount of water, right? Okay, but if we don't use it in the right areas, then it can become a problem, right? If we're misusing it, we're not managing it correctly, then it can become an issue. Okay? Our water supply is fixed and finite. It's like a giant milkshake glass filled with an endless number of straws, which represent the demands on the supply. Because water is essential to life itself, we have a moral obligation to be good stewards by not overusing it. Quite simply, we need to price water appropriately. People who use more should pay more. The amount of water on earth is fixed. We can't create any more, but sensible price signals and a robust water market will reflect the true value of our most precious resource. So, do you guys think that the more water we use, the more we should pay? Okay, so the comment was that um, ranchers would have to pay a lot more, right? Okay. Usually ranchers though, they already own water shares. They've already paid for it. Does that make sense? Okay, so even though they don't have to pay for it now, like I know my dad, he owns quite a few water shares from Swan Creek Water Company, right? He already bought them a long time ago, and they go up and down in value, to be honest. Okay, let's move to the next page. However, what about this? Do you guys think that if I were to go out and just leave water running on my lawn all day long, all day, every day, should I have to pay more? Probably should, right? Depends on what we're using it for. Okay. All right. Um. Uh, mhm. Okay. So I know, for example, there have been times where people have had a slow leak in their water line and they didn't know about it. Well, come their next water bill, it was shot up because it was just leaking continually, leaking. And so they used a ton more water than what they were supposed to. So I mean, I get it. Like on Sweetwater Hill, that's a mountainside, right? And they've had issues where people have these big huge lawns and they only have so much water. Okay, so they actually had to drill another well to get more water, but they're going to be a lot more strict on people who are using this water just to water their lawns. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're over to page 107. Thirsty? How would you like a glass of cool, clear sewer water? Water reuse expert Melissa Meeker argues that using reclaimed water can help us be less vulnerable to droughts. Reuse it. In the face of global water supply shortages, recycled water has the potential to help us be more climate independent. And even though it seems novel, reused water is already cycled back into the supply. If you live in a community downstream of another one, chances are you are reusing its water. Recycled or reclaimed water is water that is used more than one time before it passes back into the natural water cycle. Treated wastewater, including sewage and water used for industrial processes, can be cleanly recycled for agricultural and landscape irrigation, industrial processes, toilet flushing, replenishing a groundwater basin, and even drinking water. And the best part is there is huge potential for growth in using recycled water. 32 billion gallons of municipal wastewater are produced every day in the United States, but less than 10% of that is intentionally reused. But the amount of water intentionally reused in America is still quite low, and it will stay that way as long as the public regards reuse as an emergency measure. Okay, so here, why is this, I don't know how to, okay, look at this guy, okay? An environmentalist at a sewage treatment plant holds examples of water before and after treatment. That is disgusting, right? That's really gross. I don't even want to think about that, to be honest. But it's happening, okay? They are recycling water that's been used. Right. If they didn't get enough, people would get really sick. They'd have to start boiling water. Yeah, I agree. But I wonder if they use this. So they said, I mean, it says and even drinking water. Okay. Yeah, so irrigation, industrial process, toilet flushing, replenishing of groundwater basin. Okay, I can see that. But they better test it and test it and test it over and over again before they just let people drink it, right? Anyway, that's gross to think about. Okay, so close reading. What solutions to the water crisis do op-eds 2 and 3 propose? So basically they're saying um, 2, okay, yeah. Pay more, pay more, uh, and so 2 says we should pay for the amount of water we use, and 3 says we should use recycled water. Okay, go ahead and get those put down. Okay, the next part, the writers of Use More, Pay More and Reuse It propose different solutions to California's water crisis. Identify one idea both writers share. One idea both writers share is that the public must change its attitude about water use. People must change their behavior. Okay, so go ahead. If you are at home, go ahead and pause this. I'm going to get rid of the response for the react and write because I want you guys to come up with your own thoughts on the react and write, which states, is Robert Glennon's Use More, Pay More fair? Should people pay according to how much water they use? You need to come up with a fair section and also a not fair section. Okay, does that make sense? Think of 2 different ways. In my mind, yeah, it's fair. Hey, I mean, if I use way more toilet paper than everybody else, I have to pay more to buy toilet paper, right? Okay. If I eat more food than everybody else, it's going to cost me more because I'm going to pay more to eat more, right? If I'm going to drive a brand new fancy pickup truck, I'm going to have to pay more, right? Okay, I can see that on the fair side. And then on the not fair side, well, you know what? In California, they have to water their lawn a lot more than I have to water my lawn here in Garden City, right? Okay, we just have cooler air, more water, more precipitation, things like that. Okay, all right. You guys go ahead and finish that up and make sure we get our reading logs turned in. Okay, those of you at home and here, make sure that you get your reading logs turned in today and make sure that we get your time in for student application and reading. Okay, all good.